intervals between 2017 and 2019. Everyone was talking about Fortnite. Even the most popular film of that time referred to this game. But after some point it turned out, what every YouTuber considered theirs duty to declare the death of Fortnite, which continues to this day. Just let's figure it out. How can a game with such a huge fan base die? According to, in the 2023 year, Fortnite has more than 250 million players per month. So you understand the scale. What if there were two countries the size of Russia would visit the game every month? A game with revenues of more than $5 billion a year. And this, by the way, is more than the annual budget of Georgia. So let's figure it out. Why, for several years, players paired with YouTubers predict the breakthrough of the popular game from epics. Don't forget to subscribe and like, because this will greatly help development. Enjoy watching. When the game first came out, I didn't even think about any battle royale. The developers decided that Fortnite will be PvE, releasing the only main battle, the storm mode. Next, the player had to build a fortification, so-called bases, to fight off a zombie attack. This is where the name of the game Fort comes from, those same fortifications and Night Fort. In this form, the game found its audience, but didn't become popular, what the Epic wanted so badly. Over time, shadows began to disappear from numerous players. Since the genre of games is about zombies and survival, began to lose its relevance. Epic, seeing such a strong loss of interest, began to develop a strategy. How to save your recently released game, which took 7 whole years was not enough time. All employees coming to work, trying to find a rescue solution for a dying project. During my research, they noticed quickly the increasingly popular game PUBG. The essence of the game was 100 people on one map, and the last one standing is the winner. Yes, these are the same Hunger Games from Minecraft, but then there were practically no games in the Battle Royale genre. Now there is a huge choice of what to play, from Apex to Warzone, also thanks to the future success of Fortnite. And at that time there were practically no such games, although there was great demand from players. Looking at all this, Epic's announced Battle Royale mode the 12th of September 2017. This became a fatal date for the game, and everything is faster. In general, the Epic solution worked, and Fortnite got its second wind. Players began to download the game to try out the new free mode. Although at that time, all games of this genre cost money. And just a week later they played it. More than 10 million players. Epic's hit the jackpot. No matter how strange it may sound now, but Fortnite Battle Royale was terribly similar to its direct competitor PUBG. Then no one had yet used the opportunity of a sister, due to editing, without which it's even hard to imagine the game now, and the rest of the game mechanics. She very much resembled her competitor. That's why many people started moving from PUBG, spend more and more time on Fortnite, since at that time it was running, and worked perfectly even on very weak PCs, so that it also attracts a huge number of users. PUBG developers, of course, they saw all this and thought, hey, we are losing players due to games that are very similar to ours. Why don't we sue her? In general, they did, gathering your legal team and suing Epic Games for violation, copyright, and in the meantime, Fortnite's popularity only increased into 2018. The trial between the two companies was supposed to be the battle of the biggest games fought for their survival. Videos came out, made articles. Everyone was excited about the results of the case, and eventually the news appears that PUBG is simply abandoning his lawsuit. Of course, no one understood then what happened, but the answer turned out to be simple. There is a Chinese investment company as a tenant, so that you understand its scale. These are game studios, which she owns, and no matter how funny it was, among them there are Epic Games and Blue Hall, creators of PUBG. That's why the Blitz Dance Company just didn't want to lose multi-billion-dollar profits received from both games. So thanks, lucky coincidence, Fortnite escaped the predicted death for the second time already. As the year 2018 progressed, Fortnite continued to grow, already far ahead of League of Legends in profit, which of course is not particularly popular here in Russia, but has a huge fan base abroad. Fortnite was like such a locomotive, which can no longer be stopped. It would seem that everyone knew about its existence, without even playing a game. As the game's popularity grew, players of all ages flocked to it. Moms around the world were now spending money to buy bucks for children, which they could spend on team skins. My child comes to me to ask for money to buy Virtual items in your game. Virtual skins. Virtual backpacks. Virtual dancing. These things are unreal. No one can get them. It's just something. What's in the game at the time of Epic 18 still? We're focused on development. Is sports in your game, so new updates and changes only increased interest in the professional scene. At least until Season 5, when the pistols went off, machine guns, and removed the forgotten double pump, which created a fuss all over the map. Epics wanted to attract more and more visual players, who more actively spent money on buying new skins. But how to get new people to play Fortnite? They were supposed to enjoy the victories, which were so difficult to do for newcomers to the game. The gap between old players and new ones was colossal. Forever had virtually no chance of winning. How could you deal with those? Who builds Burj Khalifa in a second, when even if there are really two walls, unable to deliver? Looking at this whole situation, Epics greatly improve existing ones. In the game Papeshki and AtPay90. But the community is very indignant about it, that they began to kill them with a simple clamp. So the Epics decided to weaken the submachine guns. But their initial buff in Season 5 showed the way, which they chose for the rest of the year. Zombies in Season 6 and the much-hated Infinity Blade in the 7th season, adding a baller in the 8th season. And don't forget about those very furs by name. Brutus in Season 10. I even remember the tournament, on which Evelyn got a lot of hate for using it. Added every season. More and more things, which were intended to increase the popularity of the game. But already in the 10th season, people began to shout about it, that Fortnite is dying. Every player felt it then. The Epics noticed this, so we made a quick plan to avoid the game crashing for the third time. When Season X came to an end, it didn't start out as usual. The black hole has not disappeared. Complete silence on social networks. Who did not give any answer about what was happening? Everyone could only guess. What awaits us in the 11th season, and will there be one at all? People went crazy, trying to figure everything out on my own. And after a few days of waiting, Epics released an update. But the players were no longer just waiting for a new season, and the first season is the second. New chapter updated Fortnite. By making the graphics better, construction became faster, added many new mechanics, without which it is difficult to imagine the current Fortnite, such as fishing or the opportunity to swim in the water. But what's more important, so this is a completely new map. Players were already looking at a completely new game. A new chapter marked a new era. It was with her that all possible collaborations began. Marvel characters, Star Wars, Halo Key to Far Batman. If you continue to forward everyone, the video will take an hour. Remember even the sensational concert of Travis Scott, which is almost 27 million players. It's as if people were gathering. Look at him at 330. Mini Stadium Centegue Barnabel. Of course, in Chapter 1 there was a Marshmallow concert, but just compare the scale of these events. Travis's concert really surprised people. What's especially striking is what happened in the game, which is still competitive and has large competitive TV audience. In the end, Fortnite became a game for amateurs, public, and various other fan modes. Of course, it's hard to admit, especially if you follow the current scene. You with dizzying moves and victories. But now Fortnite is focused on to attract a casual audience who plays the game just to have fun. That is why Epics do not increase tournament costs and wait for world caps, the same crazy prize fund. $100 million is not worth it. Just imagine. But this significant event is already almost 5 years old. Despite all this, Epics see that Fortnite is slowly losing the interest of players. They made too many changes in Chapter 1, trying to bridge the gap between pro players and ordinary people. It seems to me that's their problem. At first, they position Fortnite as a competitive game. All the most popular streamers, YouTubers are about players, those who win tournaments. People just want to be like them, and also strive to develop their gaming skill. However, it is dangerous when your income stream depends only on such players. Most people will move to a new one, more perspective of the marvelous game, and the previously popular project will gradually begin to die. That's why Epic Games decided to change their development vector and became more oriented to a new casual audience. But it had a negative effect, and company income of 2019 decreased by almost $2 billion. Compared to 2018. This is a huge loss within the game's revenue, so they needed to do something drastic. If Fortnite was going to survive, they should have rebranded. which just brings us back. Adventure with a black hole. At the end of the 10th season of the first chapter, they got everyone talking about the game, attracting maximum interest to the project. They showed what the new Fortnite has become in Chapter 2, pushing away death for the third time. If you use the Google Trend tool to study the game's coverage, can be seen that popularity declined after how they switched to the casual audience. Fortnite still doesn't have the same huge audience that in 2018, but after rebranding in 2020, namely with the release of the second chapter, we see that the graph has begun to level off, and Fortnite income began to grow noticeably, and not fall, and already in 2021, it exceeded the profit for 2018. The year Fortnite was truly on top of the world. I do not speak at the income of epics and the popularity of the game grow by looking at it. What happened to her in Chapter 4? For the release of a new creative mode, where players can create truly unimaginable things for constant updating and adding new content to the game, I can say with confidence that Fortnite is definitely not dying now and will live for a very long time.